What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? It's your boy, That Diamond here. We're back with another reaction video. This is by Sunny V2. Jake Paul, the world's dumbest genius. We all know that next year he's going to be fighting KSI. We know that. And we know he tried to sabotage KSI's boxing event. But he's fighting two people in one event. Yes. So he turned an L into a W. Alright. Sunny V2. Tell us why Jake Paul is the world's dumbest genius. I'll agree with you if it's interesting. If I don't, you made a video for nothing.
Jake Paul has got to be the dumbest, cockiest, stupidest, most egotistical person in the social media sphere. Dumbest.
This looks like, oh, this is the white outfit he wore for the Deji fight. When he faced Deji.
Cockiest, stupidest, most.
So we're going way back a little bit.
Egotistical person in the social media sphere. But that's what makes him so damn successful. There's this ever-present narrative which seems to be especially common on YouTube where we hate some of the most successful creators simply because they're successful. Our brain tricks us into thinking that we dislike them because they've got a big ego or they don't deserve their success, but much of the time we are simply ignorant to the fact that it is because their very existence paints each and every one of us in a dim light. Jake Paul is one of these individuals, no doubt about it. It's so immediately tempting to hate him, and I'm guilty of this as well. He's such an easy punching bag to hook into. However, the sad truth is that in the process of tearing him down, we discard one of the most fundamental principles of success. Imitate those who have had success themselves. While it's unlikely that in 200 years' time they'll look back on Jake Paul as this generation's Van Gogh, I'm trying to make the case that behind Jake Paul's egotistical facade, the man is a genius. There are numerous examples to be examined when looking at his recent behavior, especially in his fights. But Jake Paul is examples to be.
I remember this moment. Look who's more fatigued and more exhausted. He was so upset that he lost. He put on his reel, like, when Jake Paul was against the ropes, like, with his arms hanging out. It was actually, I guess, he thought it was a W in his book, because he said that he could have clobbered on him, something like that, on his Instagram reel. But looks like we know who's more tired. He didn't stand a chance against Jake Paul. It was a close call, but no, I don't think so. I'll give Jake Paul credit. He's actually pretty good boxer, but we still got CKSI in the ring on the 20th. So, yep, that's gonna be awesome.
When looking at his recent behavior, especially in his fights. But Jake Paul is so good at what he does that we've been eating up his same obvious yet subtle growth strategy dating all the way back to 2016, where Jake Paul started to realize that people would talk about him in the mainstream media if he did one simple thing: go out of his way to be an insufferable moron. When considering Jake Paul's infamous line being 5 mil on YouTube in 6 months, never done before, and he did so through being this
Sunny V2. There are a few other YouTubers. I can name one other YouTuber that just grew up super fast and millions of subscribers. PewDiePie shouted out Jacksepticeye, and Jacksepticeye got over 1 million subscribers. I think it was probably like less than 6 months. I could be wrong. It could have been a little longer, but I know Jacksepticeye was the fastest one that I know of. I'm pretty sure.
Insufferable douchebag. Perhaps this taught him from the very beginning that this was the best strategy for growing his social media presence. And honestly, what incentive would he have to change it? If you made the fastest growing channel in the history of YouTube, you're going to keep doing whatever helped you to achieve that fast growth, regardless of whether or not people hate you for it. And not only are you going to continue it, you're going to escalate it with the goal of getting more and more.
There's someone I know, and I know she's watching this video too as we speak. She used to be a Jake Paul fan. Right now she's moving and stuff. Did you find one of your Jake Paul posters? Don't worry, I'm not going to name drop you. I'm just saying, I know you're cleaning up and you're moving right now, but you did tell me you used to be Jake Paul. Yeah, well, I should stop. She's gonna kill me if I keep on talking about this.
Media coverage, which is exactly what Jake Paul started to get good at. With his escalation in douchey behavior, Jake Paul would go ahead and release the infamous classic It's Everyday Bro with a not-so all-star cast, including some of the biggest white boy.
How can you like this song? Elena. I'm gonna just say Elena. How can you like this song? You're a Jake Pauler. This song was so cringe. I know some people loved it, but I thought it was cringe. I only saw like a few minutes of it. I didn't even see the bloody whole music video.
Douchebags known to the internet. While the video could easily be dismissed as the most brain-dead piece.
And no, do not recommend me reacting to this video. No. I'm not gonna react to Jake Paul's music videos. Hell no.
Of lyrical
Don't even bother. Stay all the comments below. Don't DM me any of his videos. I'm not gonna watch it.
Garbage ever uploaded to the platform. This move was calculated and far from arbitrary. The magic and skill involved in this video was that it simultaneously appealed as entertainment for his younger audience, while setting it at the perfect level of stupidity for older YouTubers to publicly discuss how bad it was. Now, Jake,
I'm warning you, do not put in the comments below any of his songs or videos. I'm dead serious.
Paul could have just gone all out with the cringe and made it easier for other YouTubers to pick on it, but if he made it too obvious, people would have sensed that he was only making it to get people to react to it, ultimately lessening the intended effect. Jake Paul subtly sprinkled in almost nonsensical lyrics which flowed with the song, but were also obviously going to be picked apart by other larger YouTubers. England is my city, drop some new merch and it's selling like a god church. Is that your boy's cologne? These were among the classic lines that we all remember, but how do we remember them? Well, because Jake's strategy worked perfectly, and the video was talked about in almost every media avenue that you can imagine.
You don't need to say you're a white boy, dog. You don't need to put that in the lyrics. This is the whitest music video ever made.
Everyday, bro! Disney Channel flow!
Oh my goodness, I know that. I auditioned for Disney. I don't think no one knows that. I don't think I even told Elena that. Yeah, I auditioned for Disney before, but like I got a part, but I actually declined it because like they called me for another auditioning and they had a one-on-one person with me for a role they wanted me to do. It wasn't official or anything yet. It was a commercial that they wanted me to do first, and then to see if I'm eligible enough to get on their standards, which I was, but no, instead I end up wanting to become a voice actor for a video game.
I'm gonna be watching It's Everyday, bro, for 10 hours straight.
Things you should never rap about. Taxes. Disney Channel. Never ever rap about the Disney Channel.
And this is Jake Paul's talent. It's setting things at the perfect level of subtle stupidity, just at that sweet spot where it causes people to talk about him without them getting to the point of saying, yeah, but you can tell he's only doing it so people talk about him more. It led him to gain more than 250 million views on It's Everyday Bro, and more than 15 million views on his less infamous Buy That Merch song where he employed a similar douchey tactic. But why the difference between 250 million and 15 million? Well, perhaps the reason Buy That Merch didn't perform nearly as well as It's Everyday Bro was because he didn't nail the subtle stupidity in Buy That Merch, as Paul with an estimated $600 million in media value. Remember the Tana Mojo Jake Paul wedding? Once again, another one of the dumbest things ever done by two YouTubers. It was obviously fake and set up in a way so that it wouldn't be permanent, especially when the celebrant went on to fight someone in the crowd, turning it into a complete comedy, but it didn't stop a media crew in the hundreds from showing up to document it. And while I certainly agree that Shrek's wedding was more entertaining than this, unfortunately Shrek's wedding didn't provide it. I certainly agree that
Sonny, it's emotional, not entertaining, dude. I wonder if he intentionally said entertaining or he messed up and was supposed to say emotional. See, whenever I do like these kind of, I don't do these kind of videos, like my commentary videos on my main channel. I always go over them and make sure my punctuation and every single thing I wrote down is correct. I'm sorry to criticize you, Sonny, but if you're gonna put something on the screen like this, you better read it how it's like written out and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm just saying that.
Shrek's wedding was more
Because I think I have OCD because I like things to be perfect. That's why. I'm sorry. Apologies.
entertaining than this. Unfortunately, Shrek's wedding didn't provide him with $600 million worth of exposure, so who's the real winner here? However, the majority of his controversial events was because Jake Paul's popularity was in decline as the vlogging phase was coming to an end. Take, for example, the Arizona looting incident from June 2020 when Jake Paul was spotted going into a smashed up shopping mall in a video uploaded to the internet. Now, Jake Paul is a multi-millionaire who's not going to waste his time running around the streets taking $50 shirts from local stores, but here's how the story apparently goes. Jake Paul was having dinner in a restaurant next door to the looting.
He was at a dinner that was next to the mall
And decided to get his own videographer to film the incident, which resulted in the accidental filming of Jake
Smash.
Paul being an idiot. We can assume that he at least
Wow. Really, me and my college?
If you shop at
That used
Walmart,
to be in my college. I used
You
to
get
go
it.
to.
you know how to spend a little less to get a little more, to make life a little better.
Hey,
consciously saw this as some
you know what, MSJC? How come you don't have an ad? My whole college has an ad for YouTube. How come you guys don't have an ad? I've been going to MSJC for it was my first week last week. Fucking hell. School is huge.
somewhat of an opportunity, as he likely understood that he was going to get media coverage for being involved. Is YouTuber even his main occupation anymore, or is he better referred to as a boxer? With his dive into the world of boxing, this method of seeking controversy seems to be one of the prime strategies for publicity. Now, I'll preface this part by
Who do you think's gonna win next year? KSI or Jake Paul? Leave in comments down below. Who do you think is gonna win?
saying that I know absolutely nothing about boxing or the UFC, and therefore I am completely uninformed in this area. But when looking at a character like Conor McGregor, talking smack and being provocative seems to be a part of the game. When Conor McGregor's leg broke in that big recent fight, you can see him on the ground still trying to talk smack to the opponent despite his inability to walk.
Your voice is in me DMs, hey baby, hit me back on my chat.
He has a reputation for being provocative, and as a result, there are multiple compilations of such on YouTube with millions of views each. Now, as many have pointed out, Jake Paul seems to be somewhat of a Conor McGregor copycat, and honestly, why not? If being provocative works for someone fairly uncontroversial like Conor McGregor, imagine how much free publicity Jake Paul, who's already far more controversial, would receive if he's just as provocative as someone like Conor McGregor. Given his past on YouTube as discussed earlier in the video, it's really no surprise that Jake Paul took this douchey provocative approach back in 2018 before his first fight against Deji.
Deji, UK's biggest mistake. Are you sure about that?
And of course he took this approach. Again, I'm going to speculate here, but I'd assume that in a fighting sport, the goal is to build as much tension as possible before the fight, therefore there's much more at stake in the actual fight, giving the audience more of a reason to watch, ultimately bringing in more money for each fighter. Plus, in a nutshell, being provocative is simply the most accepted attitude for the sport, in which case you might argue that Jake Paul is perfect for the boxing scene. Perhaps YouTube was never really where he was supposed to be, and was therefore an intermediary while he found something more suited to his personality. Now, with all of this in mind, it would make sense as to why he made this infamous video at the start of the year attempting to get Conor McGregor to fight him. It had all of the Jake Paul boxes ticked. Provocative, douchey script, douchey outfit, all of the right ingredients for getting people to talk about it in the
I saw that video right here on Local Boss Podcast. There's no coming back from that. This video. But when Conor McGregor did injure himself once again, Jake Paul offered him $1 to fight.
social media sphere. Plus, Jake Paul is very intelligent when it comes to picking who he wants to fight.
Actually, it's incorrect. He hasn't fought a real boxer yet. Tyron Woodley does not consider as a boxer. He's a striker, but he's from the U.S. basically. He's not a boxer at all. He's a mixed martial artist. Yeah.
If we look at 3 out of his 4 professional fights, they're all former champions or professionals in a similar.
Nate Robinson is a basketball player, not a boxer. Okay, he's an athlete. You could, I guess, make a debate on that. Tyron Woodley, Ben Askren, they're MMA fighters, basically. Tyron Woodley only has a little bit of boxing arsenal. That's it. For Ben Askren, he got a big payday. Yes. You can see that little tiring look on his face and that disappointment, but underneath it, it's a huge smile. He got a big bag. Tyron Woodley, he did get a big bag too. It's just his ego, basically.
Or not Jake Paul's behavior is intelligent is that you simply can't make a judgment if we've never seen a nice or humble version of Jake Paul. You always see comments along the line.
Sonny will never see a nice version or mature version of Jake Paul, period. I'm done with this. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys are new, subscribe to the channel. As always, leave comments down below what you want me to react to next. No Jake Paul stuff, and I'll see you all in the next video.